Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It is G here. Guys, I'm going to answer, this is probably one of the most common questions I get about living in Italy is what is it like, particularly as a Black woman, but I think this is kind of general, but what is it like dating or being married to an Italian in Italy? I think I have an unpopular opinion. So guys, subscribe to my channel and let's get into this.
Not everybody's gonna think I'm cute and funny, and that's fine. That's okay. They're wrong though.
And I told a friend this and they had to agree. Italian men are like the Black American men of Europe. And let me explain to you why. There are exceptions to every rule. I would start by saying that there are exceptions to every rule. But in general, when we talk about some of the traits that Black American men have, they are very similar to some of the traits that Italian men have in Italy. First off, I think one of the reasons that Black women are more attracted to Italian men than they are other like white men is because a lot of Italian men have swag. Like they have game, they have the gift of gab, they have energy, right? They have a little something. And this is something that a lot of times Black women accredit Black men with, right? And I will say that also similarly in Italy, a lot of Italian men who have money, who have like a lot of stuff going for them, they're not necessarily checking for Black women, just like Black men. And I will say that pretty confidently. And despite that, however, absolutely all the women who are going through it with Italian men are going through it, whether they're Black, white, or whatever, because Italian men are not easy to deal with. They're very, like, another similarity that a lot of times like Black women talk about in respect to Black men is the relationships with their mother. Now in America, a lot of this is associated with single moms, right? They'll be like, oh, they're too emotionally they're too emotionally interconnected. It's not healthy how some of these men with their mothers behave. And I will say that you will find a lot of that also here in Italy with Italian men. And despite the fact that most of these men are raised in two-parent households, it's not a situation of single motherhood that have intertwined their emotions with their sons in that manner, but they have very similar like unhealthy attachments and to their mothers in general. Not all of them, 89 to 90%, something like that. And I will say that because Italy, specifically like being in Italy, when they start talking about finances and stuff, a lot of them expect women to be 50-50. I just need you to know that. Like when women are always like, oh, he took me out to dinner, he paid for everything, that might be true. Even men with lesser means have the ability to show you a nice time because Italy itself is a romantic place. Like Italy itself has like the energy of making you feel like, oh my God, this is so nice. And he treated me for everything. He probably treated you for like a dinner that was 30 euros, right? Because a pizza here is like 6 or 7 euros. You can get So you can get 2 pizza, even if you get the most expensive pizza, because that's where they're gonna take you. They're gonna take you to a pizza joint. It's gonna be the best pizza, right? Like they're gonna talk it up. They're gonna make it all of the things, the atmosphere that everyone's speaking Italian, saying things you don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Like all of those things are happening, and then you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is not what happened to me, by the way, but this is what a lot of women get impressed by, because they don't know any better and they've had such terrible experiences in other places. And it's not just Black women. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a lot of women who I see like their social media and they're talking about like all of these things that Italian men did for them, and it's really like bare minimum. Because when we talk about money and salary, the average salary in Italy is around 1,200 euros a month. So let that sink in. That's not 6 figures, ladies. And they took you out for dinner. They paid for everything. They did all of this. Like I said, you get the most expensive pizza on the menu at this place that they took you to that's overlooking the water. It looks so romantic and blah, blah, blah. It was probably 12 euros, right? They've got a margarita, 6 euros, 7 euros. You both got a spritz, somewhere between 4 to 6 euros. And Italians don't drink that much. So if you're like most women and you're not going to drink more than the man in front of you, you get 1 drink each. Maybe you get dessert, but they're probably going to take you on a walk. They're going to be like doing something else like blah, blah, blah. Or they're going to be chatting you up so much that it seems like everything is beautiful. And it will be temporarily. And I will say a lot of Italian men are not good for long term. They're good for dating. They're cute. And you might want to send them back to their mothers when you're done. I wouldn't recommend it. Like if me and my partner break up tomorrow, I will not date another Italian man. No way, no how. And one of the reasons is because the amount of emotional labor, this attachment that they have with their mothers and their traditions and all of these things make it very heavy sometimes to relate to them, to have like general conversations, because they are so attached and ingrained and indoctrined into like everything that is Italy and Italian, and the things that they're used to trumps everything else. They are not very open to critical input from outsiders. And that is also very true in relationships at a time. And I'm going to say this pretty broadly, not necessarily from my own anecdotal experiences. However, having met so many women, foreign women, who are partnered with Italians, I'm also a part of a support group for women or people married to Italians. And I see the posts that these people are putting in there. And this is not just Black women, it's like women from everywhere. The things that they are going through are terrifying, like to say the very least. And that so many of the men here, like I said, they expect a 50-50 relationship once you're coupled with them. Right? You move in together, all of a sudden they want a 50-50 relationship in respect to bills, not necessarily anything else. Although most Italian men can cook for themselves, they can do this. The longer you're in the relationships with them, the more infantile they often become. And in respect to household chores and what you're supposed to do, what they're doing, all of those things, because they expect for you to take on more of that role that they're missing from their mother. This is why they have mamone here. So many single Italian men still live at home with their parents, with their mothers, because they don't want to have to do the things that they have to do for themselves. Just not like, I think last year there was a woman who was trying to get her 2 sons who were like 40 years old, had full-time jobs, out of her house. She had to go to court to get them out of her house because of how awful they were. And she was exhausted trying to take care of them. This is very like, it's uncommon that the mom did this, but it's not uncommon that these men expect this from their mothers for a really long time, especially if they stay single. They'll stay single on purpose, and they'll only want to really like couple with a woman if that woman's going to take on that mommying kind of role and do all of those things that they want from their mothers that they think they're still children. So I will say that like that support group that I'm in, some of the posts that they make, they range from like, you know, just general awful man behavior to domestic violence to financial abuse to manipulation, not only from the man, but their entire family will get involved in your relationship, was very common here. And so, and I think that's another parallel with some of the Black American things. Like they will get, like the entire family might get involved with like the shittiness of this man and not take any accountability for his behavior. So when people ask me and they're like, well, you're with one. And I'm like, yes, I am with one. However, I am with one who is willing to do the work and who is trying to actually like do therapy and do these things, because what I find is like a lot of people here are still like calling generational trauma tradition. And well, I think that especially for most Black American women, we are starting to come out of that kind of like tradition of generational trauma to find our healed and completely healed selves. And that is not a common trait that I find in Italy in general. So when people ask me this, I'm like, I don't know if you want my answer, because people want to be in love with love. And that's beautiful and everything. I'm not in love with love in general. I think that we need to always go into every situation with our eyes wide open and understand that while we talk about a lot about, you know, Black women dating white men or these interracial, being in an intercultural relationship actually has a whole lot more impact than ethnicity or race might, because you can both be American and have different like ethnicities. But when you have different cultures and different ethnicities and all of these other things, it plays a huge role. And what I find is living here, most people are not that interested in combining culture. They want you to accept their culture and that's it. So guys, I can do a whole nother video on intercultural relationships, raising multicultural children and all of these things. But that question, when people ask me like about dating, marrying an Italian man, this will be I'm telling you, like if it doesn't work, never again will I, like there's no other Italian man that I can talk to. I can't even imagine. So I don't have the energy. I'm too old now. So guys, subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. If you guys want to hear more videos about intercultural relationships, raising multicultural children, raising bilingual children, all of those things, let me know in the comments and I will make videos about those as well. But for now, ciao, ciao.